So tonight I debated a leftist, somebody that was accusing me of being fascist or fascist adjacent at the very least. I don't know, they kind of kept changing their mind on what they were accusing me of, but basically they were accusing me of being a Nazi, except they know for a fact I'm not a Nazi. They just think that slandering me as a Nazi, even though they know it's not true, is for the greater moral good, because channels like mine indoctrinate children into hating minorities, I guess. I don't know. Something like that. Basically, I debated a leftist who had some problems with me. Let me just put it that way. And well, it went about as well as you could imagine. Behold, the AugieRFC versus pragmatic leftist debate.
All right, my name is Nicholas Diorio. I'm going to be hosting a debate today. I'm not going to be participating in one. I am a professional Twitch streamer who opens Pokemon card packs for a living. Today's debate is going to be between Augie and Prag, or Pragmatic Leftist, whichever you'd prefer. The topics, let me just pull them up really quickly, because I know Prag has had two previous debates with both Aiden Projects and Bunk, both of which were not streamed to my knowledge. So the audience is seeing this for the first time right now. So the topics for tonight are directly related to fascism, transphobia, specifically to regarding Augie, and then a discussion regarding responsible platforming. I'll give both parties the option now if they want an opening statement. You guys can talk about amongst yourselves. Otherwise,
yes, I would like to open.
Is that okay with you, Prag? Would you like
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Statement.
All right.
Wait, what would we agree on? You guys want to do like 2 minutes or?
Yeah, give me 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. All right, you're off.
All right, pragmatic leftist. Pragmatic leftist. First
Actually,
of all,
wait. One thing. Before you start, I do need to read the room here. We are on twitch.tv, not on your stream. On my stream, so there will be no slurs. I understand this is we're going to be talking about fascism and transphobia,
do you really
but
think
do not.
I was about to just open up in my intro and just start like spamming slurs
Augie,
instantly?
I don't know.
Did you really think I was going to do that?
I gotta get the rules out there. Whatever you want on your platform, just not mine.
God.
All right, Augie, you can start
dude.
officially right now.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't make me look horrible. Like, what the fuck? Okay. All right. Let me just start this conversation off properly, okay? Pragmatic leftist, your username is retarded, okay? First of all, okay, pragmatic, you are anything but pragmatic, all right? I heard last night you got into an argument with Bunk about me and about my supposed transphobia. And in that conversation, it started off with you saying that I was fascist adjacent, something I've heard before. I know you get all your opinions from your favorite fucking streamers, but I know Keffel said that, and then you just repeat that. A week ago I was fine in your book, but now because Keffel said I'm adjacent to fascist, now that's the hot take. But then when Bunk, another leftist, debated you on that and made you look stupid, you then changed your opinion to, well, I'm not fascist adjacent, but I'm going to say Augie is anyway to slander him, to ruin his career, because that would be a net positive for society. What the fuck is wrong with you? All right, that's my opening statement.
All right, Prag, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thanks. So what I would say is that I don't see fascist as generally used in online discourse as actually meaning the original term. It's just another insult. It's like calling someone the arse-slur. I think we can probably say people most of the time, generally when they're insulting each other, big streamers, are not saying it to actually call that person disabled. They're saying it because they think they're stupid. Fascist in this term, I think, is just an epithet that just means bad. So that would be like my first point.
What? I've never heard somebody offer a
Augie.
We're not on Crossfire. We're not on Crossfire.
No. This is still his opening statement.
All right. I'm not used to formal debates. Forgive me. All right, go ahead.
Sorry, Prag.
Okay, and so that would be the first point. That's what could have happened. Okay, the second point could be that most people in Twitch politics know a flamenco as the former host of the Kill stream, and so people just make the assumption that this person is fascist adjacent or is okay with those type of communities based on that association with flamenco. This is not a Keffel's problem. This is a Twitch politics problem. I want to make that very clear from the onset. This is a Twitch politics problem. It's just part of the culture. People hear stories, people see connections, and they assume political ideologies based off that. So that's my first point. When it comes to your point about me being cool with you, first of all, I didn't really know who you were. Then I think I learnt who you were. And I don't think I was ever like a fan per se. I first learnt about really who you were from the time I think you were on a stream with Nick, and Nick said I was okay or some shit, and you called me the R slur. And after that, I was like, oh, okay, so this person like hates. So I thought, okay, this person hates me. Okay, and that pretty much that like formed like a really big part of my opinion of you. And third of all, I had a really big problem with the 2 trans tweets that were recently like published like a few days ago. So that's where the transphobia accusation comes from. Yeah, that's it. That's my opening statement.
Okay.
All right,
you guys are now fully able to respond to anything either one of you have said.
All right. Well, first of all, regarding the trans tweets, feel free to link them right here and we can examine them and take a look at them, because I have a feeling that it's probably a load of bullshit. So where do I even begin? First of all, your definition of what a fascist is, I've never heard somebody give a definition, but in order to be reductive, instead of specifically defining what we're talking about. Your definition is vague and all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand that fascist is a vague term that means bad, definition. But like, that's usually what like, isn't that like what stereotypical right-wingers like say? Like, they dumb down the term to like make it more like broad. You're doing that right now. So like, I don't accept, and by the way, I don't accept your definition that fascist means bad, okay? Fascist has a very strict and clear definition, and you know exactly what you're doing by saying it. All right, so I don't buy that at all. I'm sure you said some other bullshit in the middle, but we can go over it because I forgot.
Okay, cool. So, no, that is just like not true. There are several definitions of fascist. One historian, several historians and several like people who've tried to come up with definitions have said actually defining fascist is like extremely difficult to do. It's based on several different definitions that can work depending on the context that you're using the term in. In terms of online discourse, I think it's pretty... Wait, please don't cut me off. So in online discourse, it absolutely makes sense that just used as a word to mean like this person's bad, this person is a person I don't like. It's the same as calling someone the R slur. It's used as an epithet. I think most times online, especially when it comes to like these battles and wars that happen between streamers.
So if I call somebody the N-word, is that not like a racist statement? Is that just it just generally means bad? If I'm calling you an N-word, I'm just saying you're really lazy and fucking stupid. No. That word has a very clear definition, all right? And I don't think you would agree with that. But you're saying that like, oh, well, the word fascist just means something that's generally okay, well, the N-word just means like somebody that's generally fits like the stereotype of a black person, right? But I don't think you would agree with that, given what your politics are. So I'm a little bit confused where this is going. You don't think? Okay, so I'm not going to go off on a tangent here. So what I would say in response to that is no, I never said that fascist means bad. I said that online generally when streamers are using it against each other, it just means that someone is bad. It's used as an epithet. You understand why that's the case, right? Wait. Hold on. There's a reason why that's the case. You're not going to cut me off. I am going to cut you off, bitch. There's a reason why that's the case. Okay? The reason why that's the case is because leftist streamers like you overuse the word fascist to the point where the word has lost all definition. Not a leftist streamer, Augie. Not a leftist streamer, Augie. You've just made a drastic assumption about me. Nothing about me. What do you do then? Are you just some Twitter account? Okay, well, leftist Twitter accounts. I'm just a Twitter person. Okay, leftist Twitter accounts overuse the word fascist all the fucking time. Because of that, the word has lost all meaning to the point where anytime somebody is accused of being a fascist, is like, oh, well, I don't even know what that means anymore. You understand that, right? No, that's just not true. It depends on the context in which you're using. Okay, because a lot of words do not have like these universal definitions. A lot of the time, words heavily depend on the context in which they're used in, such as the R slur. The R slur can just mean that someone is stupid, or it means that someone is actually disabled, depending on the context that you're using it in. But generally online, when it's between two people who are fighting, the R slur doesn't mean that they're trying to like make fun of that person for being disabled or having ADHD or autism. It means that they just think that person is dumb. All right. So what you're saying is you were just insulting me. You didn't mean anything by that. You were just insulting me generally. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
and,
okay.
And I think and yeah, I was just insulting you generally.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear. Okay. Then how come in your conversation with Bunk, all right, you admitted that I wasn't fascist adjacent, but you said it's worth calling me that to ruin my career? That means that seems to tell me that you understand the weight of calling somebody fascist. You understand what that word really means in the grand scheme of things. But you're playing coy with me and pretending like you're just, I was just saying this to insult you. No. You were saying something that has political weight and power behind it that you are very clearly aware of in private conversations. So I don't think you're being intellectually honest with me at all.
I'm not being intellectually honest with you. So yeah, you can use certain words in certain ways that can have negative impacts upon people. I have not rejected that throughout this conversation at all. It's not about you, Augie. I think commentary is bad. I want the fall of commentary, not just AugieRFC, because I think commentary encourages a lot of negative discourse, and a lot of the people who watch it are like extremely young, and I think it's like stunting their development and their ability to like engage normally with society.
Oh man, you're one to talk about stunted development, motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
Okay, could you actually respond to my argument?
Could you like talk with like some conviction behind your voice, like for once? Like, holy shit. Okay. How commentary is stunting the development. So you're sitting here saying that commentators, commentary YouTubers, by the way, notice how you shifted the goalpost, by the way. Now, instead of AugieRFC needs to go, now it's the rest of commentary. Now you've created this blanket term that I just vaguely fall into because that's all you can do. You have to make definitions and terms vague in order to win arguments because your ideas are fucking stupid and don't stand up by themselves.
Okay, buddy.
They fall apart.
Nice story.
Yeah. Second of all, okay, you're doing this dishonest thing with me. You know the weight of the accusation that you're making. You're fully aware of that. But then at the same time, you're going to tell me that, oh, well, I'm just calling you a bad person. Well, no. If you're going to call me a bad person, you would have done that. You're lying to me, okay? And I don't know if you even realize that.
Lots of negative weight. It has tons of negative weight.
Right,
because definitely.
So own the allegation that you're making. Own the allegation that you're making.
Oh my gosh.
Own
I don't
it.
think it's... Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. It doesn't have the weight that you think it does. And the reason it doesn't is because there are tons of people who are called fascists who still have very successful online careers, very successful political careers, very successful music careers. It doesn't... The problem is...
So because it hasn't killed everybody, then, the people that allegation has ruined don't matter? What kind of argument is this?
It signals to an audience that you are bad and makes you look bad to a certain type of audience, but I don't think it has this, like, very widespread ramifications that you think it does.
You don't think if I was known as AugieRFC, the fascist, that wouldn't hold weight to my reputation? No, listen to me.
Hold on.
You don't think... No, listen to me. You don't think that if I was known as AugieRFC the fascist, that would... You don't think anybody would look at me a little bit differently and maybe think like, oh, well, that guy's just, a regular... Or no, that guy's a little bit fucking nuts in the head. You don't think that would be the case? You really don't think that'd be the case?
It's going... I think to like normies, but not to the edgy audience. But I think normies are going to probably be turned off by like the edgy content you do anyway, right? So it's probably not going to have the negative effect that you think it
normies are pretty edgy, all right? They've just been fucking conditioned by society to think that they have to be sensitive.
That's an insane position.
Most of them enjoy edgy humor. I know because I talk to people. I know you don't go outside your fucking house. I know you don't go outside your fucking house, but I do, and I talk to people, and they're not as sensitive as the internet makes them out to be. That's actually a lie.
Okay, so Augie. All right, so if you want to do the personal insult thing, we can. I just don't think it's
I actually do, yeah.
Okay, then why would I ever engage in this conversation if this is what it's going to do? Because
I don't know, maybe you're a little pussy who can't take it.
Maybe I don't want to sit with like an anti-intellectual
who
thinks like the
don't sit here and act. Hold on. Don't sit here and act like all I'm doing is just berating you with insults. I've made very clear and concise points. All right. So if you want to if you want to use the cop out that because I've also added insults, then that means that the entire conversation is like now can't happen. Upset. I mean, I seem upset, motherfucker. I'm responding to you, bitch. What do you want me to do,
buddy?
And so what if I'm upset? So what if I'm upset? Who gives a fuck? You're calling me fucking names, motherfucker. So what if I'm upset?
It would show.
That's called real emotion. I don't think you're capable of feeling that.
Real emotion.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm
I don't
as
think you have
emotional
any
as you, which
feelings
means
or
I can
thought.
probably
I think
see
you're just
things
a fucking
objectively.
mindless, spineless spurg who just
No.
fucking absorbs this fucking cancerous content and just repeats it
No.
without even understanding what the
You
fuck
don't
you're
even know
talking
me,
about.
dude. This is so funny. You thought I was a streamer. So like,
You're right. I put too much stock into you. I actually thought you were somebody that streams, maybe not to a large audience, maybe an audience of like 2 or 3 people, but I thought you did something besides sitting in your fucking lazy ass all day and tweet and give the most fucking brain dead opinions
no.
that not even your fucking lefty buddies think are interesting or cool. Everybody thinks you're fucking stupid. I don't know if you knew that, but in this community,
What?
everybody thinks you're a nutcase and somebody who is just totally delusional.
okay, so the 2 people I'm guessing you're referencing are gonna be like Bunk's audience and like
It's
Chud
literally
Logic's audience,
everybody.
which
It's not. There's not 2 people. There's like
Everybody?
20 people. Like it's everybody. Everybody I've
thinks
ever
I'm
talked to you about thinks that you're an idiot or doesn't know the fuck you are.
Okay, so here's what I'm like. Okay, so that is like a great tangent to go off on. But
Yeah.
I kind of remember your point. It's been so.
Well, yeah, because you fucking. I made an argument and then you cried because I insulted you, and now we had a
cried?
fucking
No,
sub argument
that's not
about insults.
All right. Let me jump in because we're kind of getting all over the place here. I just want to
Yeah,
know.
thanks,
So, Prag, do you legitimately think Augie is transphobic?
Yes.
Keep in mind the tweets that you sent me are on screen, so everyone has access.
All right, let's take a look
Yeah,
at these
yeah, yeah.
tweets.
Sure.
So here's the first one.
Would you like me to read them?
Yeah, you read them, Nick.
Okay. So there are 2 tweets that were made. One was in response to my drama with Keffels. If you people don't know about that, I asked my community to stop misgendering Keffels. Keffels did not like the way that I did it. So Augie quote tweeted me and said, Keffels supports transphobia. She literally needs it to survive. She wants all of our communities to be full of it. Don't be fooled by her act. Blair fucking White cares more about trans issues. It's all a grift, and she's just went mask off. If you don't see it, you're delusional.
Holy shit, so fucking pissed.
And the second tweet was, besides, we all know the community isn't transphobic. Flamenco jerks off to them, and no one did anything about it.
These are some good ass tweets. How could you have a problem with these?
Okay, so I guess I'll start with the second one first.
All right.
I think the basis of you saying my community isn't transphobic because we have someone that sexually fetishizes trans people is a bit weird if you're going to make a statement about the fact that your community is not transphobic.
Sexualizes trans people. Wait, does it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna make the argument
No.
that everybody that has a fucking preference is like bad for that?
No, I'm going to make the argument that the sexual fetishization of trans people, seeking trans people solely for their sexual fetishization, is a bad thing to do.
Wait, why?
There's something called chasers. I don't know if you know what chasers are. They exist.
People that chase trans people?
Yeah. They chase trans people solely for like their sexual pleasure. It's a thing that exists.
Okay, but what if 2 consenting adults have sex purely for just having sex? Like, are you gonna make that? Now, I would make a religious argument against that, but I have a feeling that you're probably not religious.
Oh no, I'm like a progressive Christian.
You're a Christian?
Yeah.
Oh, well then that would be morally bad because you'd be having sex out of wedlock, but like outside of like a religious reason, could you give another reason why that's bad?
Yeah, sure. And so the problem with solely seeking, seeing people for like their sexual pleasure is just due to the fact that encourages like a very warped perception of people. It also encourages people just to like not feel safe because every time someone goes outside, they're gonna think, well, I'm gonna be like put onto. I'm going to be harassed. People are going to solely be seeking me for like sex. That's something that I don't feel comfortable with. People are just not going to feel comfortable in spaces where they feel that people are solely seeking them out for that reason. And so if that's solely why you're seeking someone out, obviously it's like a bad thing, right?
I guess, but if 2 consenting adults want to have sex just purely because they just want to have sex, is there really like a fucking bad
we're not
power?
talking about 2 consenting adults here. We're talking about
you're talking about rape?
No, I'm not talking about rape. I'm talking about a culture where people are constantly getting hit on. A culture where people are only seeing certain types of people solely, I guess, for like sexual purposes. I would argue that's like a culture that's pretty bad and a society that most people would feel uncomfortable in. Okay, like if people.
I mean, I agree with you from a religious perspective. From a secular perspective, I don't. But I mean, I don't know. We're getting into there's 2 different conversations we could have here, and one of them I think we agree on. The other one that we probably don't.
Sure. I just think like society cannot run.
Let me ask you something. What are your thoughts on like kinks?
Kinks?
Yeah.
As long as it's between two consenting adults, it's fine. But I don't think you should go out of your way. Like, let's say you're like on like a dating app and it's for kinks. I think that's fine. But if you're like going out of your way randomly, let's say this guy's randomly going up to people and going like, "Are you into this?" That would be, I think, a bad thing to do, because I think there are certain rules in society that are set, and I think in order for everybody to be able to participate in society to like the fullest degree, we need to sort of have those like type of social standards in place.
All right.
Do you understand what I'm saying, or
sort of?
Okay.
We're getting a little carried away with this topic. I'm trying to narrow down what you fucking think, because it's a little bit difficult. Like, you're saying my tweet is like making a mockery of people that like specifically jerk off to trans people and stuff like that.
No, first of all, jerk off to trans people who would seek trans people out solely for like sexual reasons.
Okay, but Flamenco doesn't do that. That's the joke, right? Flamenco's been accused of like fucking like jerking off to shit with like that's featured like I think like cross dressers, or I think even like I think one of the characters in Boy Soprano is like literally trans or something, right? So people like make fun of Flamenco for that shit. The joke here is that how could my community be transphobic if Flamenco jerks off to them? I don't know if he does or not. I don't think he does. But like, do you see what the fucking point of the joke is? Like, who is getting harmed by this joke, other than Flamenco?
Who is getting harmed by this joke? No one, but I would argue that it's like pretty bad optics for you, right? Because at the same time, you're saying, hey, my community isn't transphobic, but most trans people are going to see this and goes, well, this is not someone who takes it seriously. This is someone who just like literally made a joke about it. This is like my point, right? It just seems that it like perpetrates like very like negative stereotypes about your own community.
What are you saying, dog? This doesn't make any fucking sense, bro.
100%.
How? Well, we're in like two different levels of like argumentation here. Like I'm trying to like even pick your argument apart to like respond to it, but I can't even like the basis that like I don't know. You've lost me here. I just okay. So, let me ask you this. All right, let me try and figure this out. Okay,
go ahead.
Let's say somebody had a thing for Asian women, for instance. Is that a problem?
If it's been two consenting adults, no. If someone is going out of the way to like seek out Asian women, like on the street, or they're constantly hitting up Asian women, or I guess.
But I feel like your problem there is just with people like catcalling, right?
Not only catcalling, but I believe like if we're solely looking at people only for sexual pleasure, then that's a problem.
What's the problem? Let's say I was a guy that had a thing for Asian people, and I saw like a chick on the street who was Asian, and I tried to talk to her, and then she tells me to fuck off, and then I dip or something. What harmful thing has happened in that situation? I walked up to somebody I thought was cute. I talked to them. They weren't interested. All right. What's the deal?
Okay. So obviously the context of like how you approach this person, how you've asked this person is going to be incredibly important in this situation. Generally there probably isn't a problem with it, but I happen to think.
What if I said, "Hey, you've got a gigantic ass"?
Yeah, I think I would say that would be inappropriate, because obviously, you're acting in a way that obviously could distress that other individual, and make it so that individual just doesn't feel comfortable maybe going around that certain area again.
True, I agree.
Yeah, I would feel uncomfortable if someone's like said that to me. If just out of fucking nowhere, yeah, I'd feel real uncomfortable.
But it's a compliment.
I would think, you know what, I'm probably not going to come around this area again, just because I want to avoid like that area. I would just assume maybe this happens in this area quite a bit, and I would.
What if I walked up and actually slapped her ass?
That would be a moral wrong. Like that would just be objectively, I think, a moral wrong.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. Well, I don't understand that tweet's transphobic. I guess let's talk about the first one then.
Okay. So okay. So, when it comes to this tweet, right, we are saying here that Keffel supports transphobia, when most of her actions have shown that she doesn't. I just think like this is descriptively just untrue. There is no evidence that Keffels has ever been transphobic.
Okay, descriptively
Any time?
untrue. If let's say the statement was untrue, first of all, is it
Mm-hmm.
transphobic or is it just untrue?
Transphobic, as in you harbor personal hate towards trans people. No, transphobic, as in it can cause negative effects for trans people. Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm literally calling out somebody with bad behavior, right? Let me
No, you're
hold on.
transphobic.
No. Let me explain to you the point of this tweet here, because I don't think you understand it, okay? Keffels made a tweet, or sorry, no, I think it was actually Jalen. I think Jalen made a tweet or something, pointing out how some people in Nick's replies were being transphobic, right? And so Nick then made a disavowal tweet where he was like, look, guys, don't keep the shit out of my community or you'll be blocked. Like, I think he said something like, I don't want transphobia existing in my community. And so Keffels took that and said, Nick is still transphobic because he's fine with transphobia as long as it's not in his community. As if Nick has any ability to control whether a group of people are transphobic in anyone else's community other than his own. And by the way, even in his own community, he can't really control it. He can moderate it. He can get rid of it when he sees it. But if Nick's community secretly deep down is all transphobic, outside of controlling their mind, Nick can't really do anything about that, right? He could just argue like, hey, you shouldn't be transphobic. He could ban it, but he can only control it to a certain extent, even within his own community, and certainly not in other people's communities, right? So Keffels sees somebody actually doing what she asked for, which was moderating their community and removing transphobia from it and making an explicit stance against it, right? But even then, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for Keffels because of how Nick said it, right? So Nick is doing an action that is objectively not transphobic. In fact, it's very pro-trans. And Keffels, for some reason, sees an issue with it. Of course, the reason why Keffels doesn't actually see an issue in it, okay? Keffels just sees money and engagement, okay? Because that's how they get interaction on their Twitter account. By calling out transphobia everywhere. And sometimes they call it out when it exists, and other times they call it out, like in this case with Nick, where it just doesn't exist at all. But they make a spectacle out of fucking everything because they know how the machine works, especially on Twitter. Okay, maybe not on Twitch. Their numbers are a little, a little on the lower end, but certainly on Twitter, they've got that shit figured out. All right? It's obvious what they're doing here. They're running a grift. And if you don't see it, you're living in total delusion. Because if Keffels is going to look at things that are pro-trans and somehow skew it as an attack, they don't really care about the issue at all. They're virtue signaling. They're not being real or genuine or honest at all. They're preaching to the masses. They're telling them what they want to hear. And they don't give a shit at the end of the day because they know they'll be rewarded by the algorithm, by the social media circle that they've participated in and created in multiple times before. Okay, so that's what my tweet means. That's what my tweet is talking about. Keffels supports transphobia because when Keffels sees transphobia, they get a 10,000, 100,000 like tweet. And they like it because they see it in areas where it doesn't exist. Right? They feed off of it. They need it. If nobody is being transphobic on a particular day, they get like withdrawal symptoms and they need to just fucking manufacture it almost, right? And I think that was proven in that tweet there. So when I say Blair White cares more about trans issues, I'm being a dick, but I'm also saying like, look, everybody accuses Blair White of being a grifter. And let me be clear. I think Blair White is a grifter. I don't think Blair White cares at all either. But I think they care at least a little bit fucking more than Keffels, based on Keffels' actions. So that's what I meant. Do you understand?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say, right? You didn't like it when I called you a fascist, because you didn't think it's just descriptively true. Now, even with all this stuff, you calling Keffels transphobic has the same point. You're contradicting yourself here, Augie. You don't like it when you're called fascist, but you're okay with calling Keffels transphobic. without like much of like the context of all the stuff you just said to me. How do you like justify those two things?
What do you mean?
You said
those are
you
two
didn't like it when I
hold on.
called you
Okay,
fascist or
all right,
fascist
all right.
adjacent,
That
and
was-
you were calling her transphobic here.
I don't know if you can tell, but that was a rhetorical question. When I said, what do you mean? I wasn't asking you to then chime in and, well, what I was saying. No, I heard you the first time, all right?
Okay.
Here's the deal. Calling me a fascist when it's just objectively not true, and then admitting that it's not true, but continuing to do so anyway to cause harm to me openly, is much different between me saying that this person who has committed actions that seem to support something probably supports that thing. Do you understand that?
No, because
How?
you've made one. You didn't like me calling you fascist because it's not true. In order to call Keffels transphobic, there is a drastic range of assumptions that you're making, which just cannot be.
What do you
proven.
mean? I just have to look at their
There's-
actions and come to a conclusion.
No.
How?
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Huh?
When I look at somebody
Keffels
do
supports
something,
transphobia, even though Keffels has like raised tons and tons
Obviously.
of money for trans charities, even though Keffels condemns trans,
which is an action that they benefited to some extent off of. Look, I'm all for charity. Okay, I like charity. I like charity streams.
Under
all right?
this idea,
But
every
hold
person
on.
who's
You're not even letting me finish my point.
against
You're not even letting me
anti-racist-
finish my point. You're not even letting me finish my point.
Let me finish
okay?
my points, dude.
Okay, I like charity. All right. But let's not sit here and pretend that a charity live stream doesn't at some level benefit the person doing the stream. They get attention, they get exposure, they get, praise from the whole community. Yeah, sure. Charity streams are mostly done for the goodwill of the charity, but at some level the streamer does benefit from that too. So just because they've done a charity stream doesn't mean that they might also not create an ecosystem where they profit off of the misery that they claim to call out. Do you understand? How?
Like I'm sorry. This is such an
simple
insane
shit,
point.
dude. This is simple shit.
You've tried to explain to me the grand Keffels conspiracy here. Okay,
It's not a
And the
conspiracy.
problem with-
It's common sense.
That's an oxymoron. Like,
What are you
there's no
talking
such thing as
about?
common sense, Augie. That doesn't exist. It's an oxymoron.
I can understand why somebody like you would believe there's no such thing as common sense, but trust me,
No,
buddy,
it's an oxymoron. It's
it
not
is
real.
very much something that is real and something that most people are capable of engaging with. I know that's a little bit of projection coming from you, saying that it doesn't exist, saying that everybody is all just delusional and crazy, right? But everybody's not like you. Not everybody is delusional and crazy like you. A lot of people actually
buddy,
do
that's
exist in a
cool.
common
I'm not
sense
the
reality.
I'm not the one arguing that Keffels is engaging in a grand conspiracy to increase transphobia in the world. That's you, Augie.
You can call it a
So, you know,
conspiracy, but I mean, it just doesn't diffuse anything that I'm saying. It just doesn't respond to anything.
You cannot
You
impair.
know, as much as you say that me insulting you isn't responding to the argument, you just sitting here saying that what I'm saying is conspiracy doesn't respond to what I'm saying either.
it does because
No, it doesn't.
here's the
It's
thing.
just name calling at the end of the day. That's all it is. Oh, you're wrong.
Okay.
That's all you're saying is you're wrong. Okay, well, explain it.
All right.
All right.
So, okay. So here's what I'm going to say. The idea that anyone or most people who engage in charity are benefiting off the action that they're opposing. Under this idea, we would say that Martin Luther King actually would have benefited more from racism. That his enormous benefit was racism.
I
Would
mean,
you agree with that?
everybody knows Martin Luther King Jr.'s name. There's a whole day made to celebrate him. Even
he
in that
benefited off-
claim, there are definite things that Martin Luther King Jr. benefited from. That's not to say that if he had the choice of living a life with no racism and no problems of that nature versus going through the life that he did, he wouldn't choose one over the other. But it is to say that Martin Luther King Jr., even him, anybody that made a name for themselves, that established their legacy, calling out racism, even if they suffered under their time period, that legacy, that sense of just eternal destiny that they've created for themselves, that still benefits them to some extent, right?
Okay, so I guess then my question would be, do you think Keffels, if she could choose two things, would rather no transphobia in the world or still have lots of transphobia in the world?
Probably, if I had to guess, the normal thing to say would be, yeah, obviously the no transphobia option. But given how much Keffels might benefit from it, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'd have to look into their mind to know.
Come on, under
I genuinely
this
don't know
argument, right?
because you're talking about
this is just
somebody
insane.
that benefits from this system heavily. So I don't
Everyone
actually
benefits
know.
from the system. Even you benefit from the system.
Exactly.
Exactly. Everyone does.
And you're the one bitching about it.
Yeah, because I think even though I benefit from it, it's bad.
Okay. Well, Keffals
I
benefits a lot more from it, right? So it's hard
Huh?
to tell. It's hard to tell if Keffals would live a peaceful, just no social media life where transphobia doesn't exist, versus if Keffals were to do exactly what they're doing right now. I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult for me to come to a conclusion there. The logical conclusion would be yes, the no transphobic world, the world of peace and love. But maybe there's more to gain from being in the other. I don't know.
No.
Surely you must acknowledge this.
I'm going to try and address this tweet that Keffel sent. So, I don't think this Keffel's tweet is good, by the way. I just want to know, I don't think this Keffel's tweet is good. I think there are several ways she could do this. I actually think the best thing she could do is just have a conversation with Nick. But there sort of is this problem a lot of the time when I think people, I guess, go through, transphobia, racism, or sexism, whatever they've been attacked with, is accusing the other person of, hey, you're not doing enough to, stop this. It's never enough to stop this, because they feel as if they're still getting it, and so they think it's all you. It's just I think it's part of just a wider loop here. I don't think this is Keffels being a grifter. I think this is Keffels being pissed off and not knowing who to throw it at. That's what I think's going on here. Most people do. Most people do this shit where they'll get shit from a community and they'll be like, hey, your community's not doing, and the streamer or the person will call it out and they'll be like, yeah, well, I'm still getting this. Obviously you're not doing enough. Happens to Destiny, happens to Vosh, happens to gaming streamers, commentary, whoever. It's just something that happens. I don't think this is her being a grifter though. I think this implies a lot of malicious intent on her part that I don't think that's there. I just think this was a dumb tweet to make and she could have at least worded this a lot better. I don't think this is malicious on her part here. Yeah, and even though didn't she the day before acknowledge that Nick has done more than most commentary streamers have? Didn't she acknowledge that the day before?
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but I heard that. So obviously that's why I think there's a greater thing here. This is not malicious intent.
There was a 12-hour period where she had thanked, well, not really thanked me, but acknowledged that at least I did something. And then once I posted a formal statement, she didn't like how I worded it. And then basically went back on it entirely, and yeah, that's where we were. So, all right, sorry.
Did you go back on entirely on tweets on her stream as well, Nick?
I didn't see the stream, to be honest. I didn't watch it, so I can only go by Twitter.
Okay, so this tweet, I think this is her just being pissed off that she's still getting what she says as shit from the commentary community, and she's going, oh well, obviously you're not doing enough, because she's pissed. But I don't think there's any malicious intent in this tweet. I don't think this is her wanting transphobia to survive. I don't think it's any of that stuff. I think it's just her being pissed.
Keffel's biggest problem with me in particular that I can understand from the tweet is that my policy is when I see it, if it's there, I will nuke it. We've done this in the past with people who make comments with Jewish people. Augie's done this as well on his own platform. Because when you make videos on Ethan Klein, regardless of what you say in the video, there are people who are going to come up and call him a greedy, and all those anti-Semitic things and stuff like that. And those aren't jokes. It's hate speech. When you see that pop up on the screen, I know I delete them. I'm pretty sure Augie deletes them. And it was basically just doing the same with transphobia. So if I see a bunch of people saying this guy's got an Adam's apple or something, I'm just going to nuke that person. I don't really care. They're not somebody I would like in my community. But I think the part that Keffels disagrees with is I don't care what people do on their own time. So if they think differently than me and have completely different views than me, if they if they're out of my general vicinity and I don't know about it, I'm not checking up on my own fucking people here. You know what I mean? I have a lot of people to look after. You know what I mean? So I'm not individually tracking what everybody says everywhere else. I know what's on my platform. I clean it accordingly. And that's basically all I do. I don't care what other people actually believe.
Okay. I guess I can understand your position then. I can understand her position as well. I think when it comes to this shit, yeah, I think
if I was a leftist streamer who talked about idpol, I would
Yeah.
do much more than I'm doing right now. But I make like
but you don't.
videos on like fucking stupid YouTube drama. So like again,
Yeah.
politics isn't my driving factor. And for every other group of people, besides trans people, my whole stance is like, listen, if you don't like what's in here, this goes for like ableism, misogyny. There are other communities for you. This isn't obviously the one that you thrive in. And I basically take that hit to viewer count because I don't feel like sitting around and moderating. I can't read through 1,000 comments on every video. You know?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is not even about that. I just think this is like she's still seeing like shit from the commentary community, and she's thinking, "Oh, it's like you're part of this," rather than like actually.
Wow, what a
I don't
great
think this is,
intelligent take. So Keffel sees she's getting a bunch of shit from the fucking commentary community, and she's like, "Oh, it must be coming from the guy who's actually fucking making an active effort to stop it." Wow, what an intelligent! Holy shit! My brain is
so
fucking
I can
bending
just,
right
like-
now from how insanely fucking intelligent this is. Holy shit, dude!
Okay, I think most Twitch streamers don't act intelligent like half the time. I don't think it's like a Keffel's thing. I think
You'd be a good one
so
to say that. So yeah, I agree.
All right, so I think what happens a lot of the time is when you're getting shit thrown from everywhere, right? I've experienced this a little bit. Like when you're getting shit thrown from everywhere, you don't even know like who's doing it at the end of the day. You're just like throwing shit back. You don't know who's sending it. You just want like the shit being thrown at you to stop half the time, and so you're going, okay, fuck you, you suck. There is no like, I think like actual intent. Oh, this is me going after Nicholas Dioro.
Well, I'm
this
glad
is me
that
saying,
you're
I'm
acknowledging that
getting shit.
Keffels' videos, tweets, and streams are all shit. Like, I'm glad we can agree.
No.
there.
No. That's not what I'm arguing here. No, Augie. So what I'm arguing here is that a lot of time when you're getting shit thrown everywhere, you're just like throwing shit back. You're not even like, this is not even a conscious effort on your part. Like half of the people who attack me that I insult them, I'm not even like maliciously thinking about them. I'm just thinking like, fuck off. That's like my only thing, right? Sometimes if I'm getting like a lot of shit like thrown your way, and when you're like, I can imagine like the shit she gets is probably like 10 times what I get. I mean, it would be insane. Like her Twitter and her DMs and her streams and her disc would be just fucking insane. So I think it's like more that. I think obviously like she needs to handle it better. I think the best advice like she needs to take is that she needs a PR person, and she needs a person who can actually deal with like the shit being thrown rather than her herself.
Who the fuck needs a PR person to run a fucking Twitter account? Whoa, what are we talking about? Like,
actually, tons of PR people run Twitter accounts.
I'm smart enough to run a fucking Twitter account. It's easy. I just don't tweet stupid shit,
How many times
bro.
have you been banned, Augie? How many times have you been banned?
None. I got banned once, and then I got unbanned the next fucking month.
Oh, is that because like you wipe like? Is that because you wipe a lot of your tweets?
No, actually, we were hit by.
It's probably because I wipe my ass. Yeah, probably.
We were banned by a DMCA troll who was sending it out to me. It was a huge wipe between like me, Augie, Brittany Ventney was on the list and stuff. There's a lot of people that got hit by that.
All right. So I think Kevels did something really shitty in this, but I don't think the tweet. I think the tweet comes off to like a lot of people who are going to be outside of commentary. I think the tweet comes off as just a little unhinged.
Honestly, I don't really care like what the intent was, whether or not Keffels is just like retarded or whether they were like maliciously going after Nick. I really don't care one way or the other. Intention doesn't really matter for shit to me. It's what like the tweet does and like what the person is saying at the end of the day. Okay.
Oh, but you're comparing her also to Blair White. I mean, that's a bit bad too, right? It's not like
Why?
It's not like why?
Blair White
because
is like
Blair
the number
White
one like trans person who's like accused, and again, rightfully so, of being a grifter. Okay, I'm just comparing her to another grifter.
Well, I don't think like that's the major criticism that like trans people make of Blair White. No, that's just a grifter. It's that
really I hear that criticism all the fucking time.
No, it's that she uses harmful rhetoric, and her rhetoric has like impacted like a lot of young trans people, especially from like I guess like
that's just another argument.
19 period. No. But that is different from grifting, Augie. Being
grifting
a grifter
is
means
way
you're just
worse.
doing it for money.
Well, grifting is
I don't
way
think she's a
worse.
grifter.
Grifting is way worse of a thing to do. That means like she's profiting off of like the harmful rhetoric is just what she does. The grifting is like how she benefits from it. Grifting is way worse than harmful rhetoric. That's a much stronger point.
I don't care the money she makes. I care the mental health impact she has on trans people who listen to her.
Okay. I'm checked out of this, so I don't. All right. I don't know.
All right. Well, I want to ask one more question to both of you because this is the
Sure.
last thing on the docket. Do you believe, Prag, that Augie should be deplatformed? Do you think
No.
A, because of views, or actually, okay, well, that answers that question.
Can I end
Sure,
with like a
yeah.
finishing statement? Sure. Okay. So this debate has like been a bit rough. I think I came in here probably a little bit too hot. So pretty much, I was of the opinion that like Augie just like really disliked me. And so then like Bunk was like, actually Augie like said some nice shit about you. And so then I was like, okay, so maybe I'm like wrong about this person. I've been wrong about people in the past. I get a lot of shit and I don't know like a lot of the time, like again, like who's for me and who's against me a lot of the time. So like if that's just the case, if I like got like Augie's character wrong, I apologize for that. But I enjoyed having this conversation.
I still don't like you, and I don't like the
that's
shit that
fine.
you said about me, and I don't like the
That's fine.
attempt at like a character assassination. Not that you could ever successfully pull it off, right? But I don't appreciate the attempt. I think you argue dishonestly. I think that you absorb all the dumb shit you see on Twitter and just regurgitate it and vomit it out without really any thought behind what you're like talking about. This conversation I did enjoy though, so I'll say that. That's my final statement.
Prag,
Thanks,
I don't know if again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Totally
No.
can say no. I've been requested from Sansol to follow up on something you'd previously said in this conversation. If you don't want to, that's fine.
No. Does Sunsol want to come in?
Yes.
I like Sunsol, so bring him in.
Okay, Augie, I'm gonna let you go. You can watch the stream if you want, but I
I'm
don't
down
want
to
to double
stay
team.
or whatever if we're still talking.
I don't
about
want to
this.
double team.
What?
I can bring you back in if it comes to
it's
you.
gonna be a double. Okay, I guess I'll just watch then. All right, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. All right, they're bringing in another streamer who I guess is gonna agree with me, so we'll see that. I guess.
I don't have
Easy fucking debate
Okay,
W, by the way.
Sansol, I need you
Holy
to add me
shit.
on Discord. I know you're
That
watching.
was fucking.
You might be.
That was so easy. Can we just fucking put an RFCW in the chat if you think that I won? Oh, dude. And then they tried to like fucking extend like the olive branch at the end while still maintaining that like, oh, well, I needed to call you fascist adjacent. It's just like, what? What the fuck?